What's up, guys? I just got out of seeing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Everyone's raving about this movie. Everyone's saying so many great things about this movie. It has a critic score in the 90s, audience score in the 90s, got an A cinema score. Now, to some of you that might be low, but no movie that's ever ended on a cliffhanger has ever gotten an A+. It has never happened. It's never happened. And my score that I'm going to give this movie is going to reflect that. Let's first start off about something that I want to give them props to, as we got another animated movie coming up here, an Elemental, made by Pixar, who, the Pixar are old, man. They ain't been showing up lately. And you look at Elemental, and that thing's going to cost $200 million, and it's tracking to do $40 million domestically. And you have Across the Spider-Verse that's tracking to do over $100 million, 3 times more than what the first one did in 2018. So look at what Sony of all places, look what they're doing with the Spider-Verse stuff. It's costing them $100 million, $10 million more than the last movie. $100 million. Look what they're doing. Look at the boundaries they're breaking, especially in this movie when it comes to animation. Forever, everyone thought all we could get in animation is whatever the fuck Disney or Pixar were doing. Now here comes Spider-Verse doing their own fucking thing. And look at it's only been a few years. Look at the films already inspired by that. Look at Last Wish last year. Look at how the inspiration that took from Spider-Verse. You're already seeing and feeling what this movie did 4 years ago. Now here they are coming back, hitting you again. They say this was going to be, they tell us at CinemaCon, it was either this year or last year, they tell us this is going to be a 2-parter. We say, okay. They changed, not only did they say this is going to be a 2-parter. Now we come back and they pick up mostly where they left off for the first movie. And I feel like the only thing I can say about this movie that's bad is, like, it's not even a negative. The only thing that's probably different from this movie and the first one is, like, there's so much more focus on Miles' family. Like, even with that little, well, it's more like Miles and Gwen. Like, they spend like the first 10 to 15 minutes are on Gwen and her dad. And I loved all of that. Then you get back to Miles and his family. And usually when it comes to superhero shit, families always bog down the stories. 9 times out of 10, I don't care what anyone says, the family shit always bogs down the story. Miles' family is just a bigger reason to see this movie as anything else, just like the first one. They don't bring down his story. They lift up his story because they are fucking important, and they aren't someone that you just can't wait to leave. You want to see them, and you get emotional when you see them. You love them. They aren't like the other families and other superhero stuff. They don't bog down the story. You love them and you care about them. They aren't just there so your hero can cry and move on. You care about them more than that, you know? And I feel like in this movie they did so much more, developing and mushing out his family and the dynamic of him being Spider-Man and everything else. And then we get to meet, as the movie goes on and we deal with that, we get to meet the other Spider-Man. And based off the trailer, I thought we were going to get a whole lot more Spider-Man for a whole lot more time. We didn't really get to meet the other Spider-Man. I want to guess, if I had to guess, we didn't meet the other Spider-Man an hour and 20 or an hour and 30 into the movie. And this was about a 2-hour and 20-minute movie. You didn't really feel like it, but that's what it was. So I'm sure everyone's favorite Spider-Man variant was Spider-Punk, voiced by Daniel Cormier. Great actor, great voice actor, apparently now. I'm sure he was everyone's family. Can't wait to see him in the next one. Oscar Isaac as Michael O'Hara. Come on now, that boy's collecting all the Marvel gems. He's a fucking one of the best actors today. Haley Steinfeld as Gwen, great. I don't know all the other. I want to say Spot was voiced by either Michael Cera. I don't know why I'm thinking Michael Cera. It probably was Jack Quaid. I think it was Jack Quaid, wasn't it? And then you had Andy Samberg voice someone else. If I had to guess who he voiced, he probably voiced Ben Reilly, but I could be wrong. I haven't really been keeping up with all the casting and shit. You had a great cameo. I'm spoiling the fuck out of this movie. You had a great cameo by Childish Gambino as, who you would have guessed, Prowler. He's 100% going to be Prowler in the MCU. And there's two things to that cameo. One, he's probably going to be Prowler in the main live-action Miles shit. And he's who Miles is inspired by. If you didn't know that, Miles Morales is inspired by Childish Gambino. So there's two sides to that coin of that cameo. But like I said, this movie is definitely a part one. It's definitely a part oneer. I cannot give it a whole. This is a great movie. And if it had an actual ending, and it was probably 3 hours and 20 minutes, and they ended it all in one thing, I'd probably give it a 10 out of 10. But I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because it's a part one. Got to see how the next one goes in 9 months. So, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 9 out of 10. Very excited to see the second part. Like I said, voice acting was great. The world building is great, like always. Animation's fucking S tier. They're changing the industry as we speak. Yeah, I'm very excited to see part 2. So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 9 out of 10. Peace.